managing everything and the reaction of the players as well. But everything we are sending the message in the dressing room, respect our values, and try to be mature and responsible. Sometimes someone, because it's not only Jhon Duran, before as well, some players sometimes they are reacting a little bit. Is under our control or under my control, and of course is not irrelevant.
Jhon Duran and his reaction to being subbed last night. I was going to tell Pete and Doogie they weren't required for this bit, but I didn't want my chair kicked on the way past. So here they are once again. And once again, Jhon Duran delivered for Villa last night. Does it show that he can do it from the start and isn't just a super sub?
Absolutely. Well, he scored on both his starts so far this season, and I think we saw in that frustration when he was taken off that he just doesn't feel he's getting as much game time as maybe he deserves for a player who's got 7 goals in 12 games this season. And as we can see here, goals scored per 90 minutes in Europe's top 5 leagues. Look who's number 1, Jhon Duran, 1.56, and decent company as well. And Nkunku, Harry Kane, Robert Lewandowski with him, Oasis Perez as well, having a decent start to this season. But yeah, look, Jhon Duran, it's been a fantastic player. I remember watching him on the opening weekend of the season at West Ham, scoring there. And since then, he's just taken that form and kept it going. Brilliant goal last night, as you described earlier. And then against Bayern Munich as well, like a wonder strike from him. And you just think, what a talent at 20 years old. And, of course, he scored last night just as Watkins was coming on. They've not started together yet, but surely Unai Emery needs to find a way to get both of these players in the team. But what a luxury to have both of them at his disposal as well.
Interesting to see Christopher Nkunku on there, because it does spark the debate, doesn't it? Is Jhon Duran the best second choice striker? Let's get it that right way round in the Premier League. Is he?
I think right now it's very difficult to argue with. I think you could also throw Gabriel Jesus when he's fully fit and on form. Maybe in the mix, maybe Callum Wilson as well. Both of these players, have struggled with injury over the last few years. Rodrigo Muniz at the back end of last year looked excellent for Fulham. He's not really had a look in since Raul Jimenez has got back to sort of 2019-20 level forms since he was at Wolves, that is, for Raul Jimenez. So Jhon Duran's right up there. I think 7 goals in 12 games this season, absolutely remarkable. His expected goals and assists per 90 ratio, so the quality of chance that he's creating for himself and firing off on goal is at 0.9, which is up there with Haaland, it's up there with Mbappe. You've got to caveat that with he's only played 200 minutes, which is a fact going forward. Because I think last season, you'd probably say the best second-choice striker was Julian Alvarez at Man City. He wanted to leave for more game time, went to Atletico Madrid. Man City have left themselves a little bit open if Erling Haaland gets injured. And Jhon Duran is going to want to start. And whether it's alongside Watkins, as Pete sort of hints at there, or whether starting for another club, I can imagine that's going to come to a head in the next 18 months or so.
Yeah, that is the worry if you're Villa. But they really have a strong squad here, a deep squad all over the pitch this season, don't you? You've had a look at the options that they've got right now, and it is... Well, it is impressive, isn't it?
That's right. I think the Duran-Watkins situation is maybe reflective of what Emery's got across the pitch, really, in terms of he has got quality. And I think this is just a concern going into the season for Aston Villa with the Champions League football and trying to repeat what they did in the Premier League last year. Could they cope with that transition or the extra workload of extra games? Could they rotate their team and still be strong? But we look at the side here, and, you know, look at fullbacks, Konza and Maatsen last night, but then you've got likes of Cash and Dean on the bench last night, top quality players for them. And also welcoming back players from long-term injuries. John McGinn is obviously back as well, but likes of Buendia, who else have we got back? Kamara came back on as a sub last night, so a great reception. And obviously, as I say, Tyrone Mings got a great reception before the game because he's been out for the best part of a year with his knee injury as well. But attacking options, midfield looks like it's got real depth for them as well. So there's a lot to like about Aston Villa and their squad at the moment, and the way that Emery's deploying all these different options as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of caught in a debate here in my mind as well. Is this a surprise that we're seeing Villa doing so well, or are we ignoring the Unai Emery factor here?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fact. I mean, look at them. Perfect record, the only side. With a perfect record, of course, we'll see whether the likes of Liverpool can join them tonight as they play RB Leipzig. But Unai Emery's been a European specialist for a long time. He won 3 consecutive Europa Leagues with Sevilla. He also won another one with Villarreal. But crucially with Villarreal, he reached the Champions League semi-finals. That year, they beat Juventus, they beat Bayern Munich. They got close to beating Liverpool in the semi-final as well before a few goalkeeping errors from Geronimo Rulli knocked them out of that tie. And he's an expert in preparing his side to play league football and European football alongside it as well. And as Pete says, I think their recruitment in the last few years has really left them with an abundance of options. And Unai Emery's Villa go from strength to strength. This is their best start to a league campaign since 1998. I think they've won 9 games in a row in all competitions. They're just absolutely flying, and it's a great time to be an Aston Villa fan, I imagine.